When talking about basketball, the GOAT conversation comes up a lot, typically containing the likes of Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and maybe Kobe Bryant. But does Wilt Chamberlain have his own case? Is Wilt the greatest of all time? Let's get into it. What is up, everybody? Jacob West here with Amateur Hour Sports, where we give you raw and unfiltered sporting content Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So if it is your first time here with me today and you like what you see, maybe you like insight and opinion on the sporting world, and maybe sometimes some informative videos on the history of sport, make sure you subscribe to Amateur Hour Sports to keep up to date with all that content. So about a month ago, I made a video about Wilt Chamberlain called 23 WTF Facts about Wilt Chamberlain, and it has recently become my most popular video by far. And a lot of people in the comments of that video claim that Wilt Chamberlain is the GOAT. And since that is my most popular episode, and I know that a great chunk of my subscribers have come from that video, and I want to address my thoughts and opinions on the GOAT debate involving Wilt Chamberlain. If you're watching this video, I also strongly recommend you go check out that video, 23 WTF Facts about Wilt Chamberlain. The link is in the description. A lot of you in that comment section firmly stood with Wilt as your GOAT. So when you look at the GOAT conversation, you can look at it from two things. You can look at it as the greatest athlete of all time or the greatest basketball player of all time. So I'm going to address both in this video, starting with the greatest athlete of all time. There is a lot of evidence that suggests Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest athlete of all time by far. He could run a 40-yard dash in 4.4 seconds in dress shoes. There is a Hall of Fame NFL coach who claims he is the greatest wide receiver he has ever seen in his life, ahead of the great legendary Jerry Rice. In fact, Wilt Chamberlain could have had an NFL career as a wide receiver, but NFL players didn't make as much as NBA players at the time, and Wilt, the coach, wanted him to play wide receiver. Wilt refused, and he wanted to play quarterback. He allegedly has a higher vertical than not only LeBron James, but also Michael Jordan at 48 inches. Reminder, Wilt Chamberlain was 7'1". Michael Jordan is 6'6". He's also in the elite class of athletes who are in the Hall of Fame for two different sports, as Wilt Chamberlain retired from the NBA and became a professional volleyball player. A volleyball player so good, he got in their Hall of Fame, like I was saying. He also could have had an elite career in athletics with his high jump, proven by his college accolades involved in that sport. He also probably could have been a Hall of Famer for football, given the information given to us by Hank Stram. When he played for the Harlem Globetrotters a year before he started his NBA career, he played as a point guard even though he was a center. That's how talented he was. I have no doubt in my mind he is the greatest athlete of all time, any sport, any era. Wilt is the greatest athlete of all time. Now let's transition over to the basketball side of the discussion. The greatest basketball player of all time. Here's the dilemma. There is a definitive lack of evidence to make the case for Wilt Chamberlain, unfortunately. To me, the debate is between Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Wilt Chamberlain. Those are my top three. But I am a believer that LeBron James is the greatest of all time when it comes to basketball. I live in the era of LeBron James. I grew up in the era of LeBron James. This is the player among the greats that I see the most often consistently. But Jordan played in an era where media started to take a surge, especially on the sporting world. So we have the ability to watch footage, full game footage of Michael Jordan. I have done so. Look at footage of Michael Jordan and make the comparison to LeBron, because the media was prominent in that era for Michael Jordan as well. So even though I didn't grow up watching Michael Jordan live, I still had the ability to watch Michael Jordan and make my case for him. And because LeBron and Jordan play in somewhat similar positions, as they're both on the wings, small forward, shooting guard, it's easier to compare those two players at the top, at the elite level of basketball. Unfortunately, I was not able to gather copious amounts of eye test results when it pertains to Wilt Chamberlain. However, his stats, his stat lines, are the most impressive I have ever seen. Most impressive I've ever seen in my life. If we go solely off of the statistics of the player, Wilt is the greatest. But my arguments for the GOAT contain a lot more information, including the subliminals of a player's game. And when it comes to that aspect, I lean heavily in favor of LeBron James. Wilt was also unfortunate to play in the Bill Russell era, another one of the greats. I would have Bill Russell in my top 10 all time. But Bill Russell played with a much more equipped team than Wilt Chamberlain. I know Wilt Chamberlain had some good teams, but Bill Russell had the better teams, hence why in his 13-year career, he won 11 rings. Obviously, a lot of that is personally on Bill Russell, but you don't win 11 out of 13 without teammates. There's just no way. This is why we only see that Wilt Chamberlain won 2 championships. And unfortunately, that is a bit of a knock on Wilt Chamberlain. I know I just said that Bill Russell had the elite teams, but if you want to be perceived as the greatest, you should be able to make your team get over the line. That's something I think that LeBron has. The ability to make his team just that much better, make his teammates that much better. And I don't have the evidence to suggest that Wilt Chamberlain has that same ability. And maybe Wilt did outperform Bill Russell in 1v1 terms in those finals. But again, the ability to elevate the level of your teammates. That's the biggest thing for me when it comes to this conversation of why I lean heavily towards LeBron. If you really want to cement yourself at the top, the summit of all of basketball players, I think that 2 championships needs to be higher, especially that he only has the 1 finals MVP to show. So here's how I look at it overall. I used to have Wilt only in my top 5 with LeBron, Jordan, and then I had Kareem and Kobe to round off the top 5 with Wilt as the number 5 in there. But after creating this channel, I looked deeper into the statistics on the matter, which were very enlightening. I have come to the realization that Wilt Chamberlain is above Kareem and he is above Kobe for the GOAT discussion. I just don't think he's quite above LeBron or Jordan, but it is close. I can fully respect somebody who tells me Wilt or Jordan are the GOATs. 100% can respect that opinion. From the information that I possess, it just leans in the favor of LeBron James. That's just my opinion. Though I do think Wilt and Jordan are very close behind, I just lean towards the LeBron side. If you think Wilt is the GOAT, I can get behind that. I may not wholeheartedly agree with that opinion, but I can support the opinion and respect the opinion that somebody thinks Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest of all time. I understand how the thought process would lead you to believe Wilt Chamberlain is a GOAT, and the same goes for MJ. If you think those guys are the GOATs, I can perceive how you came to that decision. For other players, other than LeBron, Jordan, and Wilt, I cannot understand how you come to the decision that that player is better than all 3 of these guys. There's just no way. There is a lack of evidence that suggests that any player other than LeBron, Jordan, or Wilt are the greatest of all time. To be honest, there's really no evidence that would give anybody else the right to be held above all 3 of these players. I know a lot of my subs are Wilt Chamberlain fans, big Wilt Chamberlain fans, so I'm sorry to disappoint you with my opinion here. Hopefully you can respect my train of thought and why I just slightly lean towards LeBron. It's a lot about being in the dark about Wilt Chamberlain and how good he was. Maybe if I had more information, I would be on a different side, but I feel like I'm at the max amount of information I can have. I've done what I can to learn about Wilt, and from the information I've gathered, I just have to lean towards LeBron. And there is a potential that I subconsciously lean towards LeBron because I live in his era. I grew up in his era, and potentially that is the case. I do have that subconscious favor towards LeBron, but so be it. That's the way I think. That's how my train of thought went, and hopefully you can understand that. I could just lean towards Wilt to, make most of the viewers of this video happy, but, I really believe in having a strong integrity with myself for this channel. I know obviously I don't have a huge following, but for the people that stick out with me, I try to give you my raw, unfiltered, honest opinion about a matter, and this is how I feel. LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time. But keep supporting Wilt, keep making the case for Wilt, because a lot of people will not even have him in their top 3. I definitely, from what I know now, will put him right behind Michael Jordan. Very close, very tight top 3, and there's a bit of a gap between those 3 and any other player on the list. This is just my opinion. You can have your own opinion. Of course, I feel that LeBron's the best, Michael Jordan number 2, Wilt Chamberlain at 3. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to like the video if you like and subscribe to Amateur Hour Sports for more content just like this as well. Hit that notification bell. We post 4 times a week on the channel. Go check out my other video on Wilt Chamberlain. The link is in the description. 23 mind-blowing facts about the Big Dipper. At the end of the day, I believe what I say, and if you disagree, that's okay. We'll see you again next time.